whatever happens to President Trump in 15 days, he is still the elected president of this republic, and we do not recognize the communist Chinese agent Joe Biden or his controllers. I trust in the great contest of liberty. I trust in my forebears, and I trust in you.
This kind of thing will spread and get worse.
You know, we've all seen things today that may make us shudder. Michael, thank you. The question many asking tonight, how did this assault on the Capitol happen? Why wasn't it more secure when Trump supporters have been threatening similar actions for months? Let's go to Tom Costello with that.
For weeks, right-wing online chatter had discussed just this scenario. The president had called for protesters to march on Capitol Hill. Washington's mayor had called out the National Guard to protect the city streets. Every D.C. police officer was on the job.
Today's events were not representation of peaceful protests. Today, what we unlawful, riotous behavior.
The question tonight, why weren't Capitol Police prepared for this?
We need to ask questions about why it was or was not designated a national special event and why the security around it was insufficient.
2,300 officers make up the Capitol Police Force. Today, they appeared to be on the defensive, retreating as the crowd pushed forward, forced to pull their guns in the House chambers. But none of the kind of aggressive tactics police used against mostly peaceful protesters last June in front of the White House after the killing of George Floyd.
What is not spiteful and violent this crowd was.
Here in the D.C. area. Lester?
All right, Tom Costello, thanks. NBC's Andrea Mitchell has covered Congress and the White House for many years. I think we all agree we've not seen anything quite like the way this day has played out, Andrea. But I want to raise the question with you that I did with Michael a moment ago, Bechelos, about what the next 2 weeks could bring.
Well, it is so hard to predict. I think there will be censure, some action taken, certainly by the House members. You're seeing tonight one Republican from Washington State, Kathy McMorris Rodgers, saying that she will no longer object. She was one of the objectors. I know you talked to the other congressmen who will still object, but they have to rethink how much responsibility they had for what happened today.
And Andrea, what does this mean? Will this be an easier or harder Biden presidency because of this, at least in the beginning?
I think the poison in the atmosphere makes it so much more difficult coming in. He has so much healing to do, but there is a real a signal, at least from Mitch McConnell, that things might be different. There may be some way to come together in the middle. All
right. Andrea, thank you. So here we are at the end of an extraordinary and chaotic day in the history of our country. We've seen an assault on our democracy like we've never seen. The normally routine exercise of certifying, or in this case, counting the votes of a presidential election turning into a life-threatening attack on one of the pillars of our country. Gunfire, a woman dies, others wounded, members of Congress in gas masks, hiding under their desks, saying prayers. The U.S. Capitol occupied and under siege. The questions will linger for a long time. On a very basic level, just how could an angry mob breach what should have been one of the most secure buildings in the world? Why did it take so long for authorities, including President Trump himself, to respond? And what responsibility will the president ultimately bear for what happened today? Tonight, members of Congress are vowing to get back to the process of certifying the election of Joe Biden as the next president of the United States. Despite what we've been through today, our democracy is strong, and there will be a transfer of power exactly 2 weeks from now.
Yo, crip walk on it. Yo, your camera busted, boy. Your camera's busted.